What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, all the new provisions in the fourth stimulus/infrastructure package, as well as what is going on in the world today. Well, President Biden just crossed his first 100 days in office. How do you think he did? Let me know down below in the comments how you think President Biden did in his first 100 days in office. Well, several new polls are out asking this exact question, and his approval rating stands at 52 or possibly even higher, 52%, after almost 100 days in office. President Biden's approval rating in the Washington Post/ABC News poll is roughly consistent with two other surveys released Sunday morning. One by NBC News that found Biden with 53% approval rating, and another one with a 54% approval rating in a Fox News survey, which is actually slightly surprising. You would think that a Fox News surveys would actually probably be a little bit less than the other surveys, right? The Washington Post noted that former President Donald Trump is the only recent occupant of the Oval Office to have a lower approval rating at this point in his presidency. Former President Donald Trump's approval rating was just 42% just before his first 100 days in office, after which his approval rating in some polls were as low as 36%. 60% of Americans said President Biden should, quote, try to win support from Republicans, while just 30% said that he should try to enact proposals without major changes, and 10% had no opinion. House Representative Jayapal, who is one of the co-authors for the $2,000 monthly stimulus payment, $2,000 one-time stimulus payment, followed by $1,000 monthly recurring stimulus checks that would go until 1 year after the pandemic is over. Well, here she is.
He marks his first 100 days in office. I'm curious what your assessment is of his time so far as president. What are you happy with, and what more do you want to see?
Well, what an incredible change and relief to be able to wake up every morning to somebody who is compassionate, who does not do policy by Twitter, who is bold and progressive in what he's proposing. I mean, he came out very strong on the American Rescue Plan, and I cannot say enough how important that rescue plan is, packed with policies that are going to put money in people's pockets, get shots in arms, get kids back in schools, and a huge success across the country. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing is, of course, there are places where we are still pushing to have him take the lessons from the rescue plan and from how bold he was and make sure that our next jobs bill is bold. And when I say jobs, I'm talking about both the infrastructure package and the families plan, because both are about jobs. They are about getting child care to people so that families can get back to, parents can get back to work. It's about providing free college for people so that we can train folks to be able to access these jobs. Mm-hmm. It's about 40% of the climate investments going to frontline communities, what we call environmental justice 40. That is very important. And then, of course, an issue that's so important to me, Alex, and to millions of Americans across the country is healthcare. We believe that President Biden should include a bold pharmaceutical drug pricing bill, because everyone is struggling with the high cost of pharmaceuticals, and then take the savings from that and use it to lower the Medicare eligibility age, to expand Medicare benefits to include dental, vision, and hearing, and then to ensure that the 8.5% cap on healthcare that we passed for the Affordable Care Act in the last package stays permanent. There's lots of money to do that if we rein in these pharmaceutical drug companies that have been profiting off of Americans for so long.
Yeah, a very thoughtful response to the question of what you would like to see done.
So yeah, she actually talked about a lot of the additional stimulus provisions or stimulus programs that we're looking forward to in the upcoming package, such as the free college, which was absolutely, I mean, that's one of the most major stimulus programs ever. If they can get free college for basically all adults, would be absolutely game-changing for America and for our country going forward as an educated country. Imagine if college was free. Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. She also talked about the potential Medicare reforms that they're pushing for, additional Medicare benefits in this next infrastructure slash stimulus package. However, Republicans have a slightly different opinion on President Biden's first 100 days in office. Kevin McCarthy, who is the Republican House leader, says that President Biden's first 100 days were, quote, bait and switch. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, a Republican from California, said Sunday that President Biden's first 100 days in office amounted to a, quote, bait and switch, and he accused the president of pushing policies that were to the left of those promised during his campaign. In a recent interview, McCarthy says that President Biden has promised to govern as a, quote, moderate during the campaign, while instead acting like a, quote, socialist since taking office. He says, if I look at the first 100 days, it's more of a bait and switch. I have not met with the president one time, nor had one conversation with him. However, in slightly different results, a majority of people actually disapprove of President Biden's handling of immigration at the border and our border crisis. More than half of U.S. adults questioned said they disapprove of President Biden's handling of the surge of Central American immigrants, particularly young unaccompanied children at the border with Mexico, according to a survey published early on Sunday. In the Washington Post ABC News poll, 53% of respondents said they disapprove at least somewhat of the job President Biden has done managing the rising number of immigrants and asylum seekers arriving at the border. While 33% approved, nearly half, 44%, strongly disapproved. 64% of Democrats approve of Biden's handling of the immigration situation at the border, while only 10% of Republicans approve of his current job. There's also some dissension now among Democratic senators over the $15 an hour minimum wage that they tried to pass in the third stimulus check package, but it failed. And it looks like $15 an hour is dead at this point. I think the more likely scenario is they will be able to pass the $11 an hour-ish potential bill that is proposed, a bipartisan bill proposal led by Democratic Senators Kyrsten Sinema and Republican Senator Mitt Romney. That bill is expected to be around $11 an hour, and that is probably the bill they can pass, which is still about a 50% more increase than the $7.25 minimum wage that is currently the federal minimum wage right now. That is the minimum wage in 20 states right now. The other states have a higher or slightly higher minimum wage, but when the minimum wage goes up to $11 an hour, it will likely take a lot of those states up as well too. Remember, the minimum wage hike will not go into effect immediately all the way to the $11 an hour, or even if they were able to pass the $15 an hour. It's a step-up program that goes up by about $1 or $2 per year until it reaches its proposed dollar hike, which is most likely going to be somewhere around the $11 an hour minimum wage. I do think that they are going to be able to pass that this year, although it will have to be, it'll have to be, because it can't be done through a reconciliation process bill. The Senate parliamentarian has already ruled that. It will have to be through a standalone bill, which means we will need at least 10 Republicans in the Senate to vote on it, which is why it has almost no chance, or maybe no chance at all, of passing $15 an hour, but it has a very, very high chance of passing at around $11 an hour. We're starting to see more and more push for the SSI increase, SSI Social Security increase, as well as the additional other program Social Security increase, as Bernie Sanders and Representative Jamal Bowman are pushing Biden to bolster the SSI increase. That we have this new proposal for a $279 per month SSI Social Security increase for people with disabilities. And the push is on as this is starting to gain more media attention and more support. So now is the time to push for this as they're deciding what is going to end up in the second half of the infrastructure package, known as the second half is known as the American Families Plan, which is where we are going to see multiple different stimulus items before all is said and done, possibly including that fourth stimulus check with those monthly stimulus checks that we discussed, as well as possibly this SSI increase of $279 per month, or also possibly the $200 per month Social Security beneficiaries raise, which is for all Social Security beneficiaries. As you know, this has been a most wanted bill that is out from a previous bill from the Democrats, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren, and Ron Wyden. Tweet them, email them, call them. If you want to get this bill passed, now is the time to do this, to get this included in this next infrastructure package. Now that this new bill to increase the SSI Supplemental Security Income Social Security Program by $279 per month, now that this new proposal is out, it's also bringing up the Social Security proposal for $200 per month. We don't know if this will also include SSDI, but we do know one thing is that the support and the push for this is also bringing up the support and the push for the $200 per month Social Security beneficiaries proposal, which is for all Social Security. So now is the time to tweet these guys, your senators and your representatives on Twitter, email them, call them, let them know you're in support of this program if you want this to pass, or if you want the student loan debt forgiveness or the fourth stimulus check. Now is the time to do it as they are preparing to unveil this plan possibly as early as next week. Now, these monthly stimulus check proposals for the one for $2,000 per month or the other one from the House of Representatives for $1,000 per month really don't look that wild or out of the question when you see what is happening with other parts of the United States. As you can see here, Los Angeles could offer thousands of poor residents $1,000 a month with no questions asked. And this is done simply on the city level. And we know that cities don't have nearly as much money as the federal government and don't have money printing power. But we're already starting to see programs like this, which is somewhat considered UBI or Universal Basic Income or Guaranteed Income programs. We're starting to see this in over 40 different cities across the United States as they're already testing in varying amounts programs like this. Over 1 in 5 residents of Los Angeles live in poverty currently, making it one of the poorest big cities in the nation, a fact most visible in the tens of thousands of people who sleep on the streets every evening. But some could soon see a cash infusion from their government. $1,000 a month to 2,000 households for an entire year, says Mayor Eric Garcetti on Tuesday with, quote, no questions asked. In his annual State of the City address, Garcetti outlined a $24 million proposal to lift up the city's poor residents without the bureaucracy of traditional welfare programs, which tie assistance to specific goods such as food or housing. The aid, according to the LAist, will be directed to families that live at or near the federal poverty line. Garcetti says, quote, the direct help will begin to tear away at poverty in our city and show this nation a way to fulfill Dr. King's call for a basic income once and for all. There's another major program called Mayors for Guaranteed Income that have already started programs like this across the entire United States, and more cities are pretty much being added by the month. As you can see, all these different cities. If you're in one of these cities, I suggest Googling it, Mayors for a Guaranteed Income in your city, and seeing if you can possibly apply for this or what other types of program that they have, because these are programs that are already doing monthly stimulus checks, at least on the city and county-wide level. So it's very possible we could see this on the federal level, as this is already happening, as well as the Biden administration has already passed monthly stimulus checks for children and the adults who claim them as a dependent, $300 per month for children over the age of 6, for a total of $3,600 for the year 2021, and $250 per month for children under the age of 6 for a total of $3,000. They also want to increase this all the way until the year 2025 in this next infrastructure slash stimulus package, as this is currently passed for just 1 year underneath the third stimulus check package. And Democrats are already pushing to increase this all the way to the year 2025, or 4 more years, or even possibly make this monthly stimulus payment program permanent. So I will keep you up to date with all these different stimulus programs and provisions, as well as the fourth stimulus check and possibly monthly stimulus checks. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new updates. Remember, new videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss an episode because we cover different programs in different videos. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on the Amazon FBA program. I have had dozens of students replace their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. And me and my wife sell products on Amazon as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.